This video is a little bit of a heart-to-heart. Depending on when you're watching this video and how you've been doing, and this one is a little near and dear to my heart. I've asked, some of the people that are participating in these challenges, give me some feedback. What are some things you want to know? And I asked my wife that, and she said, well, what do you do when it doesn't seem to be working, right? You've been doing this for a week or two or three, and the scale hasn't changed. You're still struggling, right? You've maybe fallen off the wagon. It was harder than you thought. And so this turned into a conversation with my wife and I just talking through, what do we do? Now there's some physiological answers to some of this, right? If you're a female, weight loss in the beginning can be more challenging. Your body tends to retain more water. You often have a higher, body fat composition because you make babies and things. So there's just some differences. So I would say that I hear this most often with women, but it's true for men as well. And so my reason in bringing this up is, so what do we do? And so my advice to you is, we have to, well, first of all, I would say define working. A lot of times what we mean by that is the scale didn't change, XYZ hasn't gone away, I'm not off my blood pressure medication yet, I am still not sleeping as good as I want to be, my knee still hurts, right? And those are real, I'm not discounting those, but I'm also saying we might want to reframe working. Every time you move your body, it works, meaning your body is better off because of that. Every time you eat better than you would have, right? Every time you have that glass of water instead of a Mountain Dew, it worked. Every time you get up in the morning and start your day off right with, meditation or prayer or scripture or support or gratitude, it works, okay? And so a lot of times that would be some of just my baseline suggestions for you is understand and maybe redefine working, right? Our job, it kind of reminds me of scriptures, I think Matthew 6, verse 33. It says, seek ye first the kingdom and all else will be added. Our job is to seek the kingdom. God is the one who decides what all else is, right? We take care of ourselves, we steward our bodies, and then some of those things are just going to be, in a sense, outside of our control. Sure, you can do extreme things. I've read probably most of the biohacking books out there. I've followed all those guys. I know most of those guys. I had them on my podcast, some of them. And so, but I'm not really interested in trying to hack your biology. I want to work with God's design. Now, the last part I would say about this is if this is you and you say it's not working, the reason that's a concern is because it can lead to frustration. And then that frustration can lead you to give up. It can lead to hopelessness, right? This isn't working for me. And my encouragement would be try to find, I don't know if the right word is a bigger purpose, but certainly as big a purpose as you can find. So for example, if I'm just trying to lose weight because I want to look better, there is nothing evil about that. I'm just saying it's usually not enough to sustain you. It's usually not enough to take you beyond either getting that result or some line that you have arbitrarily set, which is where you're going to give up if you don't get there by XYZ time, right? Versus something bigger than you. For example, it might be, I want to be as vibrant and healthy as I can for as long as I can so I can be the grandparent I wanted to be. Or it might be, I believe that my body is fearfully and wonderfully made, that it's a gift from my Creator, and one of my forms of worship is taking care of it appropriately, right? Moving it, nourishing it, thinking, clean thoughts, whatever that is however you, in a sense, define that. It's the purposes that have to be bigger than you. They have to be bigger than, because honestly, and this is what I was talking to my wife about, right? The other side of it is just actually really selfish. They're very selfish goals, okay? And again, there's nothing wrong with part of that being the plan, to feel better, look better, and all those kinds of things. But try to attach additional, even more meaningful things to this, okay? Because that's what will sustain you, right? Those of us that maybe have kids or grandkids or I don't know what motivates you, moves you. I don't know what your big why is. We used to call them your big why. When your why is big enough, the hows will take care of themselves. These are these concepts that we think, or maybe it's something you anchor to. That's another thing that we think about is I anchor to this, and that's what's going to take me through those hard times. When you want to give up, that Monday morning when you step on the scale and you're 2 pounds heavier than the Monday before, and you ate better last week, and you've been doing all the right things, and dang it, why isn't this working? You still won. It still worked. It's just not yet to that area that you want it to be. Okay. I remember when I was first in practice, the last thing I'll say, when I was first in, chiropractic practice, or maybe this is a better example. My sister, she's a lawyer, and she graduated at the top of her law class. And I remember when she got her first job, and it was her first, going to be in the courtroom, and she was super nervous. And her name is Andy. And she was just calling me, kind of freaking out. And my wife's a lawyer. I am not a lawyer. And so my sister called me, and she was all nervous. And I said, Andy, here's the deal. How do you think you're going to become that great lawyer that you want to be, right? The lawyer that, the 20 years, does all those amazing things. That happens only by doing it, only by that experience, right? That's what's going to make you better. Now she's been in practice probably 18 years. She runs a major law firm out in Nevada now, right? But that first day, of course, she was scared. You're supposed to be scared. The first time I laid my hands on a person to adjust them, matter of fact, the first adjustment I gave to my wife, I remember she jumped up off of the table and ran across the room and said, "Don't ever do that again." Okay, right? So you can only go up from there. All right. So, but if I would have quit then because I wasn't great at giving adjustments the first time I tried to do that with a patient. Now, 20 years later, 20,000 patients later, probably 2 million adjustments I've given in my life, maybe more. I don't know. I'm pretty good now. I should be pretty good, okay? But it took me a long time to get there. And so wherever you're at on this health and wellness journey, maybe this is a couple weeks you've seen that you're watching this and you're going, man, that guy's reading my mail, right? I wanted to give up. I want to quit. It's not working. Yes, it is working. Okay, if you're doing those things, it's working, meaning your body is healthier than it was before. You may not be where you want to be yet. That's totally cool, but you're on the right path. So I hope this is encouraging to you. Have an awesome day. God bless.